Thank you for joining us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Thank you once again for choosing Camnet TV. We look at the top stories tonight. Patriotic Front member Daniel KALEMBE invites HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to join the Patriotic Front. Government secures land for MUMBWA flood victims. And recruitment of 1,200 teachers, over 50,000 unemployed teachers countrywide condemned. In international news, at least 20 killed by suicide car bomb blast in Somalia. And sports news, MICHO names 20 local players for Algeria preparations. Join me shortly for the details. This is Camnet News. We look at it in details. A community school in Lusaka's Ngombe compound, which houses about 180 pupils, risks being closed due to financial challenges emanating from the COVID-19 pandemic. Denset Hill Community School Director Elizabeth Mwanza has revealed to Camnet TV that 9 teachers have so far left the school because she is unable to pay them, as most of her sources of income have collapsed. Mrs. Mwanza says the community school has over 80 orphaned and vulnerable pupils who are not paying any school fees. Prudence Chota filed this report.
About 180 pupils are attending their primary school at Denset Hill Secondary School here in Lusaka's Ngombe compound. From this population, 80 pupils are not paying any school fees to school management because they are either orphaned or from vulnerable homes, while others are dropout mothers who have a passion to complete their education. However, Denset Hill Community School risks closure due to financial challenges caused by COVID-19. Over 9 teachers have already abandoned the school, and only 3 volunteer teachers are left teaching the entire classroom. And school director Elizabeth Mwanza has told this reporter that a desire to see vulnerable children attain an education is what prompted her to start the school and enroll even those children in a community who cannot afford school fees.
But because of the closure that's due to COVID-19, in March 20th, the school has been faced with a number of challenges because teachers have run away because of non-payments of fees. Initially, the opening of this school was to help girls that have fallen pregnant. We administer them back to school, and those that don't have anything. Right now, I've got about 90 of them that are in school, but we are faced with a lot of challenges because the teachers that we had, the ones that were helping us, they've gone back because we don't have money to pay them. Also, the money that some kids are paying, because we've got both those that are paying a certain amount of fee and those that are not paying anything at all. When that money comes to the school, I help the teachers that most of them are volunteer teachers.
Mrs. Mwanza is, however, considering shutting the school because she can no longer afford to feed all the vulnerable pupils at her school, as her businesses have all collapsed due to the effect of COVID-19. She now wants government and other stakeholders to help her sustain her school by providing her with land, school materials, and resources to keep the school running.
And I'm just appealing to anyone out there, be it the government, the NGOs, and even individuals, to come through to our school to help most of our kids who are vulnerable with desks, computers, and other school materials. At least land where we can expand the school, grow vegetables, and keep chickens for the expansion of the school so that we don't lag behind.
And some volunteer teachers spoken to have told this reporter that their passion to help vulnerable children in the community is what is keeping them at the school.
Why I decided to volunteer here. is I have seen that most of the children in the community are left out, because on the aspect of education, most of the children that have the privilege to access education are those that are well-to-do, or maybe their father or mother are working for a company.
I've been with this school for 3 years now. I came in as a parent where I brought my 3 children here. But when I heard about it being a community school, I thought of helping it out as a volunteer teacher, and I've now been with it. But we've been having challenges with the school, whereby we need anybody. I'm appealing to anybody of the government who can help us, because we've got a shortage of chairs, and we've got a shortage of boards.
And some pupils also spoken to have called on government and stakeholders to help prevent the shutting down of their school.
Praying for those who are watching this video to help us to have a bigger land where we can be planting vegetables and be keeping chickens, and to have a school bus which we can be using for a school trip.
Has helped me how to read and write. When I came at this school, I never used to know how to read and write. I'm appealing for those people who are watching this video so that we can have a big land.
And at this school, we don't have good computers, we don't have good desks, and I'm appealing to anyone who can help us with these things.
Over 90 vulnerable children at this community school are at the edge of stopping schooling if the school management does not afford to keep it running. Prudence Jota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A passionate appeal from the children there. We surely hope that the authorities have heard, or any other well wishes on that. Moving on in the news, residents of Kanyama compound are calling on government through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit to visit the area, which has been flooded by water caused by heavy rains. The residents have explained that fecal matter, garbage and water have all mixed up and making it difficult for them to leave their houses. The residents have also complained that they are having difficulties in using their latrines as they are also flooded to capacity. Prudence Jota once again brought us this report.
Fecal matter, garbage and water have all mixed up and are now resting at the homes of people in Lusaka's Kanyama compound. These residents have told this reporter that they have not been leaving their homes while their children have not been going to school because all roads have been blocked by water. The residents are also faced with challenges in visiting the toilets because most soakaways have been filled with water.
Ichishinga fe mwana fe amenje fe yabana tabale ya ku skulu tabale fo tule chitata tule fuma mayanda ku toilet naye sudama toilet amenje mama ni life ya shani nene boticha tete ndenyanda mumenshi dalile kana okuya mukufunda nalafu mashani sechikutika kwenda ku skulu kitala manzi so sevena ngotilo kana kuloka manzi popitana sumbe sana bwino mu emergency of things
na tuchula meshi kwa Kanyama batwafisha ko babuteko baboma bona nafa turesha sitaprestisha bwino tapuli nani kana ma drainage batwafweko lwa mbona batwafisha kwa mesha tanyako ngoma drainage sitaprestisha bwino.
The residents have also complained that their area member of Parliament, Elizabeth Piri, promised that drainages will be well placed in the area before the onset of the rain season to avoid such occurrences, but that no help has been rendered up to now. The residents are now calling on government through the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit to visit the area before cholera and other waterborne diseases break out in this area.
Twachula kwa Kanyama kuno MP baba kuisa abana balelala tabalelala amenshi monene fidesticom bantu akola ikala shani balokuikala bukelo washani MP baba kusobuteko baba kuisa
kumakeni uko bachifo fwe bakuchati tabashingurukira nako katushinga takwa baba kansela katushi so ubafuna ni ubafyo ko tukwete mwandi ntatule yamkubombe fidifyonzi twakulasunga shani abana balali enshi twalafu mashani mumenshi samandi ntulelomba fyo bwafuirisho katushu bwafuirisho abo mwala twafuirisha ko bantu amenshi takuyoko yaleya naye kala naye samukwikale fi so tulelomba ko fyo bwafuirisho.
Floodings have continued to be a challenge in most parts of Lusaka. Perhaps replanning of some selected compounds will go a long way in addressing the flooding challenges, as some lives will be lost if the situation is left unchecked. Prudence Jota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Minister in the Office of the Vice President, Olipa Piri, says government, through the local authority, has secured land for the 48 families who were displaced by floods in MUMBWA district late last year. The minister was speaking in MUMBWA when she received assorted food and non-food items worth 10,000 United States dollars from the Lions Club District 413 Zambia to aid the affected families. In Lions Club District 413, Governor Peter Mangani says his organization will continue working with government in uplifting the lives of the vulnerable in society. Let's look at this. This dance signifies new hope for the 48 families of MUMBWA district flood victims who have been living in tents since December 2020. The jubilation says it all as government today announced that it has secured land where they will permanently settle. To top it up, government says it will continue working with other cooperating partners in providing relief until the families stabilize. According to the 2020 In-Depth Vulnerability Needs and Assessment Report, more than 1.9 million Zambians in about 64 districts are in dire need of relief support from government. In this regard, the minister in the office of the Vice President Oliver Piri says due to floods experienced in the recent months, more people have been thrown below the poverty line, needing urgent government support. The minister was speaking in MUMBWA district when she received assorted food items and non-food items worth about 10,000 United States dollars from the Lions Club.
It is gratifying to see a non-governmental organization supplementing government efforts in caring for the victims of disasters. It is in public domain that the country has recorded a substantial increase in the number of people in need of relief support. Compared to the previous year, due to the increased rainfall activities in most parts of the country, the rains experienced have also caused damages to properties, crops, and key infrastructures. Ladies and gentlemen, government, with the help from stakeholders such as yourselves, the Lions Club, have been providing for affected communities to lessen the burden on the households. This has been not only here in MUMBWA, but across the country.
And Lions Club District Governor Peter Mangani says the Lions Club will continue working with government and provide help whenever they are called upon.
Eradication of hunger is also another area that we look at, so that as much as possible, when there's need for food, when there's need to teach people how to make sure they have food, then we are involved. And also we provide other support, important health services that we have been involved in. In this activity we are witnessing today, District 413 is working with the charity wing of our organization, which was ably explained, the Lions Club International Foundation, which has provided the resources in the form of an emergency grant. And this grant was explained. It was a grant of 10,000 US dollars.
Sharon Kalimbola, Camnet News. Health Minister Jonas Chanda says government is still committed to attaining universal health coverage for all Zambians without leaving anyone behind. Speaking during the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of the Chimwemwe Clinic to district-level hospital and 4 mini hospitals, Dr. Chanda says government is still committed to this call. The construction of the hospitals launched on Saturday is expected to be completed within a period of 2 years. Let's watch again. The provision of affordable and accessible health facilities is the duty of government, and true to that, the Minister of Health is on the Copperbelt, where he launched the construction of Chimwemwe Clinic to District Level 1 Hospital, as well as Kawama, Buchi, Kamitondo and Zamtan clinics to many hospitals. Dr. Chanda says all Zambians should have access to health facilities, hence government embarking on a robust upgrading of clinics to hospitals and the construction of many hospitals.
The pro-poor Patriotic Front government, under the able stewardship of His Excellency, the President Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, is resolved to attaining health for all Zambians, universal health coverage, without leaving anyone behind. One of the key pillars to achieving this is to reduce the distances our people cover to access health services, bringing health services as close to people's homes as possible, especially with the increase in prevalence of infectious diseases like coronavirus, COVID-19, HIV, TB, malaria, diarrheal diseases, non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular disease, hypertension, BP, diabetes, cancers, and the maternal and child health burdens that we have.
The minister also updated the nation on the hospitals that are being constructed and operational under the upgrading program.
The PF government has embarked on a robust quantitative and qualitative infrastructure development program since assuming power in 2011. Today, more than ever before, we see unprecedented construction across the country of health posts, health centers, district hospitals, general hospitals, and specialized hospitals. In addition, government has recruited 24,480 health workers since 2017 who have been deployed countrywide. And this month alone, we are recruiting or deploying another 395 health workers to all provinces, including the Copper Belt. Further, we are committed to improving availability of safe and efficacious drugs and medical supplies in our health facilities. Let me talk about the construction of the mini hospitals and the district hospitals. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, government through the Ministry of Health is constructing 115 mini hospitals and 5 level 1 hospitals countrywide under this project which NMS is running. This is through the United Kingdom Export Finance funding at a total cost of $300 million. This project includes construction of the mini hospitals, staff accommodation, equipment for the hospitals, and training of members of staff at each health facility. To date, 32 out of 115 mini hospitals have been completed and are operational countrywide, while 46 sites are under construction.
Meanwhile, NMS Director of Business Development, Sub-Saharan Africa, Alessia Johnston, says the works will be done over a period of 2 years.
Our team is already on the ground doing surveys on sites, and we believe that we will have this thing done, the whole thing done, within approximately 2 years, all of the sites, Minister. Thank you so much for inviting us. We are honored as NMS to come to Zambia, and I'm even more honored to come to Kitwe, the center of Zambia.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News. India's 2,400-bed capacity multi-specialty hospital, Yashoda, has donated over 200 specialized medical books worth 3,500 United States dollars to the University Teaching Hospital, UTH College of Nursing. Yashoda Hospital SADC Regional Head, Dr. Rohan Bahadur, says a 2 million square feet hospital, which trains 1,000 nurses and paramedics every year, has also trained 5 Zambians in 2019, adding that 5 more would be trained in 2021 at one of its 6 nursing colleges. Dr. Bihada explains that 200 books donation is part of Yashoda's hospital social corporate responsibility and management plans to donate 300 books and mannequins in the next 4 months. And Zambia's High Commissioner to India, Judith Kapijimpanga, says the mission was happy that Yashoda has been collaborating with the Ministry of Health in Zambia and 4 years now treating several Zambian patients. This is contained in a statement made available by First Secretary for Press and Tourism at the Zambian Mission in India, Bangwe Navile.
Training centers can be worked out for the nursing as well as with the paramedic staff. Last year, with your guidance, we have invited, sponsored 5 members from the government of Zambia over there, 4 from the doctors and 1 from the nursing staff. Similarly, with this CSR activity, we have donated more than 200 books to the Nursing Institute back to the Zambia as a CSR project of the Yashoda hospitals.
Our relationship is growing from strength to strength, and that is the way it should be. And I also want to thank you for the training assistance you are giving to our already trained personnel, health personnel from various institutions, but especially UTH.
The Golden Party of Zambia has charged that the recent revelations by government that it will recruit 1,200 teachers this year is a drop in the ocean. Party Secretary General Dr. Stephen Mwale says the country has high teacher-pupil ratio while many trained teachers are languishing in the streets waiting for government recruitment. Dr. Mwale has described this recruitment as unfair to the over 50,000 unemployed teachers. He fears that this may not only reduce the efficiency in providing good education, but spark corruption, considering that the population is steadily growing and so is employment across the country. Government has since been accused of focusing on wants as opposed to needs in resource scarcity environment such as Zambia.
Of 1,200 teachers recently announced by government is a drop in the ocean. As Golden Party of Zambia, we note a high misplacement of priorities by the current government in that they are spending millions of dollars in procurement of fire trucks, ambulances, expired drugs and health consumables at a very high cost, exaggerated cost for that matter, at the expense of our young men and women who we have invested a lot training for 3-4 years, only to come and roam the streets of our country. This we find very unacceptable. We would like to call upon government to look into this matter. Otherwise, there will be sparring corruption, because our young men and women are already in a desperate situation of unemployment. And how do they make a living when the situation is as it is today? Why shouldn't we have them deployed when rural areas have no teachers, or we have 1 or 2 of them across the entire school, covering 3 to 4 grades?
Patriotic Front PF Lusaka Youth Chairman Daniel Kalembe says the former Rhone Member of Parliament Shimba Kambwili is welcome to rejoin the Patriotic Front whenever he decides to do so. Speaking to Camnet TV in an exclusive interview, Mr. Kalembe has compared the political game to a church where forgiveness is key to living in harmony. Mr. Kalembe has further invited the United Party for National Development UPND leader HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to join the Patriotic Front. He notes that the Patriotic Front government has delivered according to people's aspirations and that it is a pro-poor government. Meanwhile, Mr. Kalembe has refuted claims that President Edgar Lungu has preferred candidates who should be adopted on the Patriotic Front ticket. He says the head of state believes in democracy and wants everyone in the party to prosper.
It's like a church, whereby you have to forgive and forget. So as Patriotic Front Youth in Lusaka province, we are ready to welcome anyone. Even Hari Kalaba, even HH himself is welcome, because the boat is still open and we need more members to join us. We formed government without engaging ourselves into violence. So Patriotic Front is a political party which believes in selling its manifesto. It's a pro-poor party. It's a political party which every Zambian loves. We came in power without using any violence, because our founding father, may so rest in peace, he believed in non-violence activities, and we managed to convince the Zambian people. Now, why should we engage ourselves into violence whilst we are already in power? When we were in opposition, we never encouraged anyone to engage in any form of violence. So what I can tell you, we know the political party which engages in violence, and that is the UPND. That's where you can find the Mapacheja formula. And it's only in the UPND where you can find they are talking about Armageddon. It's only in independent where you can find they are talking about panga for panga. But in PF, we don't believe in that because we know that we belong to one family.
A social scientist, Innocent Kolala, has called on the Zambia Police Service to provide an equal playing field for all political parties participating in the August 12th general elections. Speaking to Camnet TV in an interview, Mr. Kolala says the police should allow all political parties to assemble and meet their members the same way the Patriotic Front does. He says the Public Order Act, as enshrined in the supreme law of the land, is clear on what is required to be done for people to meet in numbers. And Mr. Kolala has reminded the police that there is a High Court ruling where it was plainly put that the police is just a matter of informing them so that they can offer security to those holding public meetings.
Where this person wants to hold this meeting, how safe is it? How secure are the people who are going to go there are going to be? Then upon you verifying and having that understanding, that's when you say, fine, you are free, you can go ahead, and not to say, no, the permission is denied. How is this permission denied? Am I coming to get permission to inform you? Actually, there is even a ruling towards that, and High Court ruling, where it was plainly put it that the police is just a matter of informing them. Then since they are supposed to give protection to every Zambian, if they realize that there may be chaos in those places, they need to send reinforcement in terms of the people to go and offer the security for such a gathering. And if they do not have enough personnel, then they are supposed to agree with the owners of that grouping to ensure that they provide that security. That's what is supposed to be done. During the coming general election, we are appealing to the police. We are appealing to the security wing that let's live within the realm of law by ensuring that we allow equal playing field. Not where this person is saying, no, you can, you cannot. Yes, your permission is granted, your permission is not is denied. Whilst they are both they are doing the same the same program. That should not happen.
President Edgar Lungu says the fight against corruption has been infiltrated. This and more after the break.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komunti enda ukuni gift na land. Uchenkubeti uibise mojo wasaione. Oh! Mwina mochi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesi gear na mawaipa.
Gift code chidi ya shidi ya njinga. Liam 19 pendef code. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a Camnet difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Mommy! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mfumine kukalale. Na mnaemo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Get watch that poster and change. 1, 2, 3. Both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Hello,
I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned. We testify. We celebrate for all you've done. Lord, we give you all the praise. Oh, we testify. We celebrate. Lord, we give you all the praise.
This is Camnet News. Thank you so much for staying on. President Edgar Lungu says the fight against corruption in the country has been infiltrated, hence the need to get back to the drawing board. The head of state says there is urgent need to restructure the approach and relook at policies in the fight against corruption in the country. The president has since called on the church to come on board in the fight against corruption. President Lungu was speaking when he graced the 20th anniversary of the Bible Gospel Church in Africa, Bigoka, in Lusaka Saturday morning. And Bigoka overseer Archbishop Peter Ndlovu says the church will remain strong in praying for the country's unity and peace now, during and after the August general elections.
Your Excellency, what am I going to say? 2021. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. It is well. It is well. I say it is well. I say it is well. The Lord himself, he knows whom he has anointed and covered. We pray for peace before, after. The Lord can close the mouth of the lion. He is God. Whatever plans which are evil towards the election, they will never manifest.
The Emerald and Semi-Precious Stones Mining Association of Zambia has appealed to President Edgar Lungu to consider empowering youths and small-scale miners with Kagem mine dump site. SMART's President Victor Kalesha says President Lungu should engage management at Kagem to release the dump site to the community as an empowerment scheme. Mr. Kalesha says if Kagem dump site is well utilized, it can benefit and empower a lot of Lufwanyama residents as well as enable small-scale miners procure mining equipment. He, however, says the association is mindful of the fact that Kagem dump site is licensed under Gem Fields and partially owned by government of the Republic of Zambia. Mr. Kalesha has since called on President Edgar Lungu to consider holding an emergency meeting with the association to discuss the issue progressively.
Applaud President Edgar Lungu for the many developmental projects that has been initiated across the country, and also for the empowerment schemes that we've seen rolling down to many sectors. But as an association, we think the government or the president cannot roll out empowerment projects or schemes to all the sectors on their own, because I think the economy and the coffers are already choked with the many developmental projects that have taken place under the empowerments. So we want to appeal to the president to intervene in the issue of the dump site at Kagem. In as much as we understand and know that it is into somebody's tenement, which is Gem Fields Holdings, we feel Gem Fields should be a bit flexible and accept that government needs to support and empower some of these people. We have over 3,000 youths in Lufwanyama Emerald restricted area who are not doing anything, and they've rushed into the area to go and earn a livelihood. And as such, we feel sending him back into the urban areas in town, they will turn out into criminals. So the best way we can do is engage with Kagem and agree on a win-win situation to give away the dump site just for a period of time, so that whoever is lucky from what is being thrown picks up an emerald and they sell it, they will start to do something in terms of businesses or farming. Because as it is, we are keeping those youths in Lufwanyama in very dangerous circumstances, because if they have nothing to do, they will eventually want to start turning out into criminals.
Chieftainess Ikelenge of the Lunda-speaking people in Ekelenge district has praised government under the President Edgar Lungu for prioritizing agriculture as a means of improving the economy. The traditional leader further thanked the government for promoting and encouraging the cooperative movement for working together in the district. She pledged to continue supporting and working with the government of the day. The traditional leader was speaking when Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry Permanent Secretary Moshoma Mulenga paid a courtesy call on her in Ekelenge district, and the Ministry of Commerce Permanent Secretary Moshoma Mulenga reaffirmed the government's commitment to see to it that cooperatives thrive and realize its benefits.
Mulonga next kumona mulonga fumendi yetu Zambia kuitira mtu president wetu Edgar Chagwalungu mulonga yena nezina kutara nanga china kunyamu na undimi dichi handiru cha watu mwitwa da Zambia. Ne chumukushishika ni kwa yetu ya tama kuno adimanga nanga shi cheni undimi wekara wanyu munaona nanga sha kuno mapai ne ilanga kuleta kucheni undimi wakusa shana neru kinami mukara wetu kukura nanga kuitira muundimi. Unko itimazu amaguru nanga shikumu netina uchedena minga kutambwiri na makasa yedi akutule itira kumutandu mutiliwe no amnate kisagira nanga shikumu.
The ministry, part of our mandate is to ensure that once these cooperatives are organized, once we give them the skill, we can then link them to markets. So the markets that we are looking at is Congo and Angola. Therefore, we thought that we should come and see the infrastructure that is at the border and also the road that is leading to the border, so that we improve as the trade increases, we can also improve the infrastructure that is part of that process. We are doing that training, and hopefully going forward the cooperatives will become more effective, and going forward, we will engage with our colleagues in the sector just to see how we provide services to the cooperatives, to see how we can improve the infrastructure.
In other news, a 55-year-old man of Lusaka's Kanyama compound is seeking financial assistance from any well-wishers after his leg was amputated at the hospital. Matomola Chilinda, a former footballer, says his life has been challenging for him after his leg was amputated. Miriam filed this report.
He recalls memories of how life used to be before his leg was amputated, something that the family still sees as a nightmare. According to the 55-year-old man, surviving with such a situation seems impossible as help looks to be far. Slowly recalling and piecing together what transpired on that fateful day, which left him with an amputated leg, he tells Camnet TV that while he was working as a taxi driver, an unknown person threw a stone on him, leaving him with swollen legs. But few days later, after visiting the hospital to find out why his legs were getting worse each day, no hopeful feedback was given, but the worst option of cutting off his legs, despite doctors informing him that no problem was discovered. His wife, who lives with a strong hope that one day her beloved husband will be better, says life has not been easy for the family.
Kulibana batandizira kuti batandizire ko tandizo bandosakira nchito kayenze ba taxi driver baba kanira so ine nimanga do stable survive nsakira ndrama ntandizira abana pa nyumba ukapempako help kuliko nsolo kuli bachibulu wawo kozibenzi sona pezimo matendo abwatrembera artificial leg muli 1 month bangavale mwagulire artificial leg ambira pa 7 pin kuli ya 9 pin sona bwana wanankala nawo pansi ndiranva nwakamba ku hospital na muli lero kulibe so maybe ngapempeko chetandizo wanga watandizeko lo wheelchair chifukala vinkoli vinati ukaibe mlandu waenda usakida vakudya kuti wasakire vakudya vavana ngachokapo kwati naenda mkugulisa wamasi uyu amangira na 14 hours uyu amangira na 12 wakakomboka ujendea na masala ona kwa dadzi wake nikanishina ndosakira vakudya.
The family's dream is to get him a wheelchair or artificial legs, hence their prayer goes to any well-wisher who can make the dream possible. Miriam Kemba reporting for Camnet TV News.
This is Camnet News. Still to come is international and sports news. Stay with us.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing.
Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our Zesco units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crispy, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with Happy Waziwaka. Give us your
Enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an Appy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an Appy drink. And now introducing Appy in a can.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Thanks for staying with us. In international news, at least 20 people have been killed in Somalia's capital after an explosion at a cafe popular with government workers. And in other news, South Africa's plan to vaccinate most of its people by the end of the year is running thin as problems have arisen. One major challenge is getting the vaccines to rural areas where a third of the population lives. We monitored Al Jazeera for these stories.
For the second time in a year, a popular restaurant is attacked in Somalia's capital. Dozens are dead or wounded. Lul Yemeni was crowded on Friday night when this rickshaw carrying explosives was driven into it. A nearby building collapsed, burying people under rubble.
Among those killed in the blast was my brother, whose name was Abdusalam. It's really very sad to witness this tragedy.
The UN and police have condemned al-Shabaab for the attack.
The targets are stark evidence of how the terrorists don't want any joy or safety for the residents of the capital and the Somalis in general. We will conduct investigations into the circumstances of the blast and inform you of the final results.
Another suicide bomber attacked the cafe in August last year. Prevented from entering, he detonated his explosive vest at the entrance. Al-Shabaab controls rural areas in southern Somalia and frequently targets government and civilian targets in Mogadishu.
Thandazile Msemang buried her brother behind her family home in Mtubatuba in KwaZulu-Natal just months ago. She says he died from COVID-19, while she says her family's been devastated by his and the death of 2 other relatives. They're not convinced the vaccine will protect them.
Some say that, no, it's not a good vaccine to be taken because it can continue killing us. They can say that it will help us, but it can continue. Maybe we are going to die more after this vaccination.
Thandazile lives in the village of Sumkele, which is nearly 200 kilometers from the city of Durban. The main clinic here is already under pressure. Its limited resources have been further strained by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have many challenges. We have few nurses and no doctors.
In its first phase of the vaccine rollout, South Africa's government has vaccinated tens of thousands of healthcare workers across the country. Here in KwaZulu-Natal, fewer than 2,000 have received the jab so far. Only after all healthcare workers are immunized will it vaccinate essential workers, the elderly and the vulnerable. More than a third of South Africans live in rural areas that are often difficult to get to and have poor infrastructure. While tens of thousands of health workers in urban areas have been vaccinated, it's unclear how the government plans to inoculate those who haven't been and others in areas like this one. In addition to its current supply of Johnson & Johnson vaccines, the government is expecting 20 million doses of the Pfizer jab later this year. But it requires storage at minus 70 degrees, and that's unlikely in rural areas where facilities are limited.
So our plans going down are clear, but for now we can't just rush that process because we will create an expectation that will not be fulfilled. If we say now, get ready, you'll be vaccinated, then they will say when, and then we are not ready with those specifics because we are still, as I've said to you, we've got only about 10,000 vaccines.
The government expects more vaccines every 2 weeks, and it's increasing the number of vaccination sites. But as Thandazile's family mourns their loss and fear becoming sick themselves, their faith in the vaccine and when it will come remains uncertain.
That's it for international news. We now look at sports news. Polo Polo has commenced preparations for the back-to-back Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Algeria and Zimbabwe, with 20 local players going into camp Sunday, which is tomorrow. Head coach Milutin MICHO has summoned 20 local players for this week's camp, with NAPSA Stars players exempted due to continental engagements, with foreign-based players only expected to join camp in the final stages of preparations. MICHO has widened his pool of players to drill ahead of the crucial assignments. Zambia is at the bottom of Group H with 3 points, while Botswana is third with 4 points. Zimbabwe has 5 points, while Algeria sits atop with 10 points. Zambia hosts Algeria on March 25th before heading to Zimbabwe 4 days later. Some of the full squad members include Alan Chiwe of Green Eagles, Lamek Siame, Kabwe Warriors, and defenders include Adrian Chama, Clement Mulashi, Zesco United, Gordon Mafuenta of Bitcoin, among others. Well, that's all we had for you in the news tonight. Let's look at the headlines once again. Patriotic Front member Daniel KALEMBE invites HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to join the Patriotic Front. Government secures land for MUMBWA flood victims. Recruitment of 1,200 teachers, over 50,000 unemployed teachers, countrywide condemned. In international news, at least 20 killed by suicide car bomb blast in Somalia. And in sports news, MICHO names 20 local players for Algeria preparations. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from Matthew 28, verse 18 to 20, and it reads, Jesus came to them and spoke to them, saying, All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I command you. Behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. Remember to observe the COVID-19 health guidelines as enshrined by the World Health Organization and our Ministry of Health. Keep safe. Good night.